Hi everyone, I'm Alyanna, and together with my partner Hannah, we will discuss about 9 myths about drug addiction. Many people don't understand why or how other people become addicted to drugs. They may mistakenly think that those who use drugs lack moral principles or willpower and that they could just stop their drug use simply by choosing to. Let's get started. Myth number 1. Drug addiction is voluntary behavior. This is the most common myth that gives misconception about drug addiction, that addicted individuals choose to be addicted to drugs. But it's not like that. A person begins as an occasional user of drugs, and that is a voluntary behavior. However, once a chemical enters the brain, it can cause people to lose control of their actions. It leads to compulsive and even uncontrollable drug use despite harmful consequences. Why is that? Because most drugs affect the brain's reward circuit by flooding it with dopamine, the chemical messenger that makes us feel pleasure. That results reinforcement of pleasurable but unhealthy behaviors like taking drugs, leading people to repeat the behavior again and again. Myth number 2. Drug addiction is a character flaw. The fact is, drug addiction is a brain disease. The brain actually changes with addiction. Drugs can alter important brain areas that are necessary for life-sustaining functions and can drive compulsive drug use that marks addiction. Brain areas affected by drug use include basal ganglia, extended amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex. And all these brain changes have a huge influence in all aspects of a person's behavior. Myth number 3. Treatment for drug addiction should be a one-shot deal. That can't be done because typically drug addiction is a chronic disorder. People can't simply stop using drugs for a few days and be cured. Chronic means persisting for a long time. Thus, drug addiction is a long-lasting brain disease. That's why it cannot be treated only once. Drug addiction is also a relapsing disease. Relapse is the return to drug use after an attempt to stop. Drug addiction can be treated, but it is not that simple. Most patients need long-term or repeated care to stop using completely and recover their lives. Stopping drug use is just one part of a long and complex recovery process. Myth number 4. Drug addiction can be cured. Like other chronic diseases such as heart disease and asthma, treatment for drug addiction usually isn't a cure, but addiction can be managed successfully. Treatment enables people to counteract addiction's disruptive effects on their brain and behavior and regain control of their lives. Combining addiction treatment medicines with behavioral therapy ensures the best chance of success for most patients. Myth number 5. All drugs are addictive. The truth is, not all drugs are addictive because there are some drugs used for medicinal purposes, while others are taken illegally for their narcotic or stimulant effects, and that becomes addictive. How quickly a person can become addicted to a drug depends on the drug used and the person's sensitivity to the drug.
Myth number 6. All illegal drugs are equally harmful. Different drugs can harm people in different ways. Some drugs, such as alcohol, heroin, and tranquilizers, have a sedative effect which slow down the way the body and the brain functions. Drugs are more dangerous because they have a higher risk of addiction and overdose or because they are injected. However, each drug has its own risk. Drugs are often described as being either hard or soft, but it's not simple as that. Others seem to think that drug use is not dangerous at all. Myth number 7. Just reducing drug use is better and easier than quitting altogether. To truly recover from addiction, it's not enough to simply cut down on drug use. A complete detox or withdrawal is necessary to break ties from drugs and improve overall physical health. Reducing or quitting drugs can improve your life in many ways. In reality, drug addiction is a complex disease and quitting usually takes more than good intentions or a strong will. Drugs change the brain in ways that make quitting hard, even for those who want to. It's never too late to quit using drugs. Myth number 8. Drug addiction can be treated in a matter of days. Drug addiction can be treated successfully, but recovery from a drug addiction is a long process that often involves setbacks. Because addiction is a chronic disease, people can't simply stop using drugs for a few days and be cured. Most patients need a long-term or repeated care to stop using completely and recover their lives. Stopping process. When people enter treatment, addiction has often caused serious consequences in their lives, possibly disrupting their health and how they function in their lives, at work, and in the community. Treatment doesn't have to be voluntary to be successful. Myth number 9. Prescription drugs aren't real drugs. But the truth is, prescription drugs are real drugs. Prescription drugs are often strong medications, which is why they require prescription from a doctor or dentist. There are 3 kinds of prescription drugs that are commonly misused, which are opioids, depressants, and stimulants. Some particularly dangerous myths about drug addiction relate to the average length of treatment. A work week of detox simply isn't enough for lasting recovery. Prevention is the best way to keep people from becoming addicted to drugs. These are the ways to prevent drug addiction. First, develop healthy habits. Eating a balanced diet and exercising regularly is another way to prevent from drug addiction. Second, learn to deal with life's pressures. The inability to deal with normal life pressure is one of the major reasons that drive people to drugs. For many people, drug consumption is a way to escape the harsh realities in life. Learning to cope with life's pressures will go a long way when it comes to helping people stay away from drugs. Third, don't give in to peer pressure. Not giving in to peer pressure can and will prevent from drug addiction. Fourth, develop close family ties. Always have time with your family and bond each other. In this way, you can prevent using drugs. Drug addiction is not really a choice. The best way to prevent is to surround yourself with people who truly love you. Say no to drugs.